Hey guys, welcome to the very first episode of building worlds in public. My name is Alan, and to those of you guys who aren't familiar with what Wyrlds is, we are, in the most simplest terms, a discoverability hub and publication for Web3 games. Alright guys, so here's the goal that we have set forth for us on this episode of Building in Public. What we need to do, and we'll structure this Roundup article together. It's titled Choosing a Web3 Marketing Agency Made Simple. We'll be using this article in order to get this in-depth authoritative guide ranked on the first page of all major search engines, and it's titled Deploying an Omnichannel Web3 Marketing Campaign for Your Next Game. Well, the key phrase that we'll be targeting is Web3 marketing, and what we want to do is essentially get to the first page, but ideally, obviously, the first position on the first page by outranking these guys here, which is this article here. So, as mentioned, this organic off-page SEO strategy is very budget friendly. Any technical SEO, especially anybody who does outreach at scale, will tell you that guest article submissions for backlinks back to your article, that can put big pressure on your marketing budget. It's pricey. It costs a lot of money to do outreach at scale. So this strategy, essentially, you can organically obtain guest post, do the guest article submissions on other sites without having to actually pay the site, the property owners. And the way we do this is by, so we're not exchanging links, as that is forbidden by Google and Bing and other search engines. What we're doing is we're generating value for the property owners by including them in this Roundup article. So, as previously mentioned, this Roundup article is structured into three sort of separate sections. Demarcated, of course, by headers, by your standard appropriate header formatting. The first section essentially talks about we have to remember who this Roundup article is for. It's for marketing budget holders of medium to large enterprises, startups, essentially people who have industry know-how. This is somewhat of an authoritative article, and we want to specifically state exactly, connect with our audience on a personal level and share our sympathies in the sense that, hey, you're not the only one with this problem. Most brands are, they're losing it. They're desperately trying to figure out this whole Web3 ecosystem and how they can retain that user attention, and then the DAUs and MAUs and so on and so forth. So this is a perfect opportunity for us to pose the problem and, of course, offer the solution, which are the sections that follow. We covered the very first section, which is sort of the introduction, and then we move on to the second section, which is basically goes over the sort of things and questions that you as or our audience, who is the marketing budget holder, would want to consider, questions to ask not only themselves and their core team, but to also pose these questions to the Web3 marketing agency that agencies that are part of this Roundup article. So remember, as mentioned earlier as well, is the fact that search engines are very interested in long form content, right? We could have broken this article down into 2, 3, maybe even 4 separate articles. However, instead, it's we've created a sort of broad title that allows us to implement additional reading material. Furthermore, every word that you put down on paper, obviously in this case on the web, you want to make sure that, if possible, that every word is adding substantial value. Obviously, no fluff, no sort of keyword stuffing. This is the sort of material and content that search engines are looking for today, and that makes sense. That's the web that we're sort of used to, and this carries over into Web3 as well, if not more so. All right, so now that we've covered the first 2 sections, here is the third section of the Roundup article, and this is the actual Roundup. So what we've done is we did our sort of due diligence and research. We've contacted the property owners, and we've collected substantial information on each and every single Web3 marketing agency that we have listed here, which is a total of 14 agencies, growth studios. All of these guys have their sort of, while Web3 is itself a subset of the web, within this subset are nested further downstream sort of niches, right? You have DeFi, NFTs, GameFi, FinTech. Each digital marketing agency offers not only their own style, of course, data-driven, data-backed campaigns is the default, but more so is that these guys have experience. Each agency has their own experience that they bring to the table when it comes to the specific niche that they operate within, whether it's FinTech or DeFi, matters not. And so this is the sort of the juice. This is the core of the article. This is mostly what the marketing budget holder, our audience persona for this particular article, is looking for, right? Of course, we always advise to do your own research. That goes without saying, especially when you're onboarding, you're paying retainers for a Web3 digital marketing industry to the tunes of tens of thousands of dollars a month. You're going to do your own research, but we've created a sort of good starting point where we provide a sort of not only a checklist from section 2 of the questions that you might want to ask these 14 digital marketing agencies, Web3 growth studios. So what comes of this? Why did we do this? We did this Roundup article such that we can then go ahead and we're essentially providing value, right? I spent time, I put an effort to structure this article and to begin ranking it in search. When our audience persona discovers this, obviously the idea is that they'll click through and contact one of these 14 Web3 marketing agencies. So the idea, these guys understand that, they understand content, and moreover the power and influence that content has on the web. And so what we do is we reach out, we do a little bit of outreach with this article, and all we have to say is, hey, you're included in our Roundup list. We'll be ranking this for such and such key phrases over the next X amount of time. And, obviously you're not obligated to pay us anything. However, would you consider, and this is our goal. Remember, our goal is to rank this authoritative guide for the key phrase Web3 marketing. And how we are going to do that is we need to submit guest post articles. Now, we know those cost money. Anywhere from $60 to for a low domain authority site, all upwards of $200-300. So essentially what we've created is we've created value for 14 digital marketing, Web3 digital marketing agencies. So essentially what we've done is we've created a tremendous amount of value for these for these 14 Web3 marketing studios. Now, in terms of networking, there's a good chance that they'll reciprocate this value back. And we have results to prove this already. So we've reached out to Meta Marketing Agency and we're like, hey, you're included in this Roundup article. Would you mind that if we submit a guest article on your site, that all we do is include a backlink for our goal, which is to rank this authoritative, in-depth guide on Web3 marketing, on creating omni-channel Web3 marketing campaigns for games. So here are the results. You can see that this Web3 marketing agency, in this case a Metaverse marketing agency, reciprocated, and they're like, yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for including us in the article, in the Roundup article, and we'll go ahead and allow you to submit an article and use an anchor text link in order to link back to the article that we're ranking for. In this case, you can see Web3 marketing is our anchor text along with media outlets, and that's linking back to the guide that we're attempting to rank for. So we already have results. However, we need the metrics. We need the we need we need to actually rank in SERPs on the first page of search engines, and that will be part 2. That essentially sums up today's episode. Thanks for joining us, and I hope you guys can subscribe and like our video down below. If this is of any value to you, feel free to use this sort of non-nefarious scheme of value exchange for to save you a couple bucks, bolster your redirect your marketing budget elsewhere, and all this takes is a few hours of work, and you exchange value, and you build rapport within the community, within the industry that you're working with. And this is all around. This is essentially what the trade of value is all about: creating sort of the secondary, tertiary, downstream benefits that wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for the trade to begin with. All right, thanks, guys. Have a good one.